know that this is not the opinion of everybody, but I felt like it was really well paced. I felt like they did a great job with the character introductions. I loved all of the characters. I love that the Cloud Striders had this, you know, at first glance, I understand everyone's critique. They felt like, oh, these characters don't have like a ton of dimension.
The reason I say that from my perspective is purely because of the fact that when you actually look at a lot of the writing, full stop, that's been done on Lightfall itself, when you look at the lore and everything that's a little bit deeper, there's actually still, surprisingly, a lot of really good stuff. I know that shocks some people, but read the lore behind the raid. It's fascinatingly well written. It's one of these moments where you get to see some of the eldritch horror that Bungie occasionally interjects into the universe really brought to life. And I don't think I've ever seen it done like that before.
I made a Warlock because I was watching Naruto at the time, and I was like, this could be cool. I was like, I didn't like it.
Trying to find a window for the shop and take this without too much time. Right over. Yeah, bulldozer style from that art type, like very. This is from the 5 minutes out. Which team got captured? That is going to go to Team Warwick, and it was the recognition by the captain. Realized that all the Ravens was going to be the move to capture that.
Hang out with you guys. This is my first GCX, and like I could definitely tell you, it's been such a great experience. I've never seen such an amazing community before, and I just want to say thank you guys so much, and thank you guys for coming out.
I'm an adult man. How dare you? No, I was gonna say, doing the meet and greets both days, just seeing people in the hallway and the tabletop tavern, and just having everybody out on the floor, be able to see faces. I know last year was one of the things we were all just coming off of COVID, and we're just finally just, starting to step out into the world again. Can we get some applause? Do you think any of these fools stand a chance against Daddy?
begin, guys. So that was that. What do you guys think about the whole GCX video / shenanigans? Of course, Frankie, of course. Did you meet? No. So I wanted to meet Jake. I think we may have just been late on Friday. I think that was just it. I was like, okay, I'm willing to sacrifice not seeing Jake. My priority was Glad. Jake, if I could see him. Datto was someone I was not really on the lookout for to see and meet in person. So I wasn't really like fixed in meeting Datto or taking a picture with him. So I only had 3 content creators in mind to meet. And out of those 3, I met 2 and a bunch of others that I was not expecting to take pictures with. Oh my Jesus! That's scary! Are you wearing a sweater in the summer? Always, Ninja. The hotel was freezing. It was freezing. Especially the conference room for like the panels and the vendors. It was fucking freezing. Who is that, Daddy? Okay, so that first of all, Clyde is one of my favorite Destiny 2 content creators, and I've been following him for a while. So this was the day I arrived to the hotel, to the Rosen Shingle Creek, the hotel where GCX was going to be hosted on. So this was Thursday. I made the check-in around 3 p.m., went to my bedroom on the 4th floor, and I dumped everything in there, and then I forgot that I had to register for GCX. So I stormed back down with my mom to go to the lobby to ask the employees, hey, where do I go for registering in GCX and stuff? And they guide me and they tell me where to go. So I sprint and I run and I go and I register. That's why I'm wearing the tag, like the little thing on the neck. Because I was like, I'm not gonna put it away. I'm just gonna hang it around my neck, call it a day, and leave and go back to the hotel room. Turns out that halfway through heading over to my place, I see Clyde talking with a couple people. Mom, and she's like, what? And I was like, that is Clyde. And she's like, who is that? Obviously, my mom doesn't watch Destiny streamers. So I'm like, oh, it's this dude who had his dog taken to the vet one time, and the vet was a bitch, and the dog shat on the office of the vet, and he was telling us about it like about a year ago or something. That's the dude. And she's like, oh yeah, that's how she remembered Clyde. So I'm like, I don't know if I should approach him because he looks intimidating. I stood near them, two ladies, I believe, and 2 guys, or a guy with 2 ladies, I don't remember. And then they all looked at me and I was like, hi. And they were like, hello, yeah, can we help you? And I was like, Clyde, are you taking pictures today, or do you have like something for tomorrow? And he's like, no, yeah, you're fine. So there's this beautiful lady that asks me, hey, do you mind if I take your picture with him? And I'm like, absolutely not. Here's my phone. And as she takes my phone, I'm telling her, by the way, you're very beautiful, as Clyde and I get together to pose for the picture. And as he like puts his arm around me, he's like, yeah, that's my girlfriend. But that was on Thursday. This was Friday morning. You guys might be wondering, Zion, why did you order room service? Because there was no restaurant offering food to eat for breakfast. Like, it didn't occur to me to order DoorDash. I was like, you know what? I know I'm gonna spend money here, so let's just give this a shot and see how it goes. That's not a mimosa. Was it good though? That's what matters. Surprisingly, yes. Typically, I'm super sketch if I'm going somewhere I've never been to have food I've never had before. I like to stay in my comfort zone. I don't like to explore foods. Not everybody cooks the same, and it's a guessing game. But you like your sausages, didn't you? No, my plate was the pancakes. My aunt was the one who had the sausages. The pancakes were gigantic. Holy shit. The pancakes were huge. I didn't finish my pancakes. That was way too much. That was way too much for me. Didn't finish pancakes? No, that was a lot. They look normal size? No, they were immense. They were gigantic. Buddhist woman. So, this was me undercover. Because there were going to be a lot of people at GCX that I didn't care to meet, that I didn't want to know, that I didn't want them to recognize me for. So I decided to wear a wig to GCX. And that's why if you saw my Twitter post or my Discord thread, there's this little caption that says blah 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 GCX, but undercover. Or really, what's the tea on that? PP, the tea is very simple. As soon as my aunt was diagnosed with lung cancer in February, all the people that I used to know and hang out with and vibe and lurk in their streams have disappeared. I have not seen them since February. I have not been contacted by any of them to check in on me to see how things are going. I have not heard anything about anyone. And because of that, I was like, you know what? I don't want to go somewhere where there's going to be a lot of hypocrites reaching out to me. Oh, hey, Zion. Hey, Zeta, how's it going? Big surprise to see you here. Come, let me hug you. I did not want to have those types of vibes on me at GCX. If they haven't reached out to me in all these months to check in on me, to see how I'm doing, how's my aunt doing, if she's alive, if she's dead, I'm like, yeah, I don't want your vibes on me. I don't want you to hug me. I don't want you, I don't want to shake hands with you. I don't even want you to look at me. So I changed my glasses, because those glasses are new, and I decided to wear a wig to GCX. That was a last minute addition with 1 week of like preparation time to obtain a wig, new glasses, and all that stuff. You don't want fake vibes? Exactly, Phaetun, exactly. I wouldn't have minded to have people approach me and take pictures of me if they recognize me, but there were gonna be people in there that I didn't want to see because of this. Zion went in incognito mode? Yes, exactly. This was like the first day of GCX, so Friday. I was hanging out, vibing with my mom, checking out one of the conference rooms, because there were two conference rooms where things were happening. Or was it three? Was it three? There was Panzacola, Sebastian, and I'm not sure if anything else. But I know that there were meet and greets elsewhere, and there was this room with all the vendors like selling stuff, and there was another area for the panels and the presentations that were gonna happen. So when I saw her for the first time, she was talking to a vendor who was like freaking out about the cosplay. I was so shy to reach out and say, hi, can I take a picture? With cosplayers, it's a whole different thing, because I don't like to bother people, right? I don't like to annoy anyone. And I know cosplayers like people to reach out to them, but still my shyness was like, should I do it? Should I not? Should I not? But eventually I did. My mom was like, just do it. So I did. I reached out to her and she looked at me and she was like super happy to take a picture with me. And so different. And then when I saw the picture, I was like, wow, she really is like involved in the character, like all serious and stuff. And it was so cool. But she was so nice. She was so lovely. It's one of my favorite cosplays that I came across that day. This picture with Glad was after a couple of panels. So after my picture with Eris Morn, I had to go to another room for the conference room because there was going to be a panel for content creators and streaming and all that stuff. And then there was going to be the panel for Biff and his friends. And after the panel with Biff, that's when I rushed to get in line to attempt to take a picture with Glad. So fun story about meeting Glad. First of all, he's humble as shit. I've never met someone so humble and down to earth as Glad. For someone like him to have such a large audience of loyal people, even as a variety streamer, he was so chill, so humble, so sweet and down to earth. But this was my first meet and greet. What do I mean by this? I thought it was just me getting in line, take a picture, boom, you're out. I did not know that I could hang out with him for a couple minutes and vibe and interact, like have a small interaction. I did not know that that's what a meet and greet implied. Because again, I've never been to a convention before and I don't know any of these things, right? So as soon as it was my turn to go to him, he opened his arms to me. He's like, hey, what's up? And I was like, oh my God, I was freaking out. So I approached him. We hug each other. I had to hug him around the waist because I couldn't reach him. Like my arms, I was wearing a suit, as you guys can tell. So my shoulders were a little bit too tight to like lift, like raise my arms up. So I hugged him around the waist, and while I was leaning my chin against his shoulder, I was like, I can't believe I'm here and that I am hugging you right now. And he was like, yeah, congratulations, you made it here. And I was like, Glad, I know you will not know who I am because I am mostly a lurker in your stream. But my name is Zion Zeta, and the first thing he tells me is, oh yeah, I've seen you around in chat. I was like, Glad, I will not take too much of your time, but I do want to say this. And I started talking about his shaven legs. I was like, there was this one debate one time on Twitch and that moved over to Twitter about you shaving everything, even your butthole. And he was like, he looked at me like his eyes widened and he was like, what? Glad there was a debate going on Twitter because people were whining about you shaving your legs. But I wanted to tell you in person that I also shave everything and I agree with you. The one time I was laughing was my mom walks in and she asks me, what are you laughing about so much? It's this streamer who shaves his butthole. And he looked at her on the line and he started laughing. Yeah, you could tell he was embarrassed. But then he was like, yeah, man, you gotta shave everything. I hate hair. I don't like hair. I don't like having it on me. Sometimes I argue with God, like, God, why did you send me with hair? And I'm like, I agree. Basically, I wanted to bring a story or a memory of the streamer to the streamer. And in the case of Glad, it was about that one time he riled up his whole entire chat about him shaving his legs. And then he's like, look at me. I'm shaven, I'm clean, I'm smooth. We had such a short moment to talk about just one thing in specific. So it was a good couple minutes with him full of laughter and good vibes. It's an unforgettable moment that I will cherish for years and years. But what bewildered me was the idea of him recognizing my username on Twitch. Datto was entirely different. I didn't talk about shaven buttholes or anything of the matter, but we did talk about languages. I approached Datto, we shook hands, and he was like, you know, something I would like to do is to learn all the bad words in another language. So that way, if I'm traveling somewhere, I can know if someone is talking shit to me, so I can respond to them in their language and talk shit back. It felt like meeting a lifelong friend. Same thing with Glad as well. By the way, I want to go back now that Asmodee brought that up with Glad. After talking about the butthole, the shaven butthole situation, before I left Glad, I was like, Glad, can I give you a word of advice? And he was like, yeah, sure. So I was like, Glad, can you please stop doing all these 48-hour streams and just like reduce them and take better care of your health? And he was like, okay, mom. And then we said goodbye to each other. So back to Datto. We spoke about languages. It was very brief. And then I was like, Datto, I miss your wife. It's unfortunate that I couldn't meet Danielle. And he was like, I miss her terribly too. But, you know, she's doing what she loves. And, you know, sometimes you got to do the thing and go. I was like, Datto, I'm not going to take you any more time because I'm aware that you were already here in the morning. You're already here now in the afternoon, and you're also gonna have another meet and greet tomorrow because this was still on Friday. So we shook hands again and we said goodbye, and then I left. So the Titan that I thought was a Titan who ended up being a Warlock. Once I finish with the meet and greets with Glad and Datto, I hang around with my mom to check out the vendors, see what they're selling. There wasn't really anything that called my attention to purchase, so I didn't really purchase anything from GCX or from Bungie. I didn't really see anything from Bungie for Destiny except the ramen. The ramen bowls were $30. I can't justify spending $30, or rather $60 between my mom and myself, for a bowl of ramen. What if I don't like it? So while we're hanging out, I see this beautiful daddy hanging out, minding his business, and I came across him earlier in the morning, but then I came across him again, so I was like, I would love to have just a picture with him. Turns out that he was not just a cosplayer, he was actually Stadia Time. So imagine my surprise when I shake hands with him and the first thing he tells me, sorry, I can barely see, so watch out. And and then I took a picture with him, Petra, and Zer, but then I came across him again in this room among the vendors. So I was like, I'd love to have a picture just with him. But I never knew that he was not a Titan, but a Warlock until Shadow brought it up to me. So he was an absolute sweetheart, and he was such a good person, so kind, so humble, so nice, so lovely. And I'm so excited that I had the chance to take a picture with him, a better one. That was such a beautiful cosplay, and I kept telling him about it. He is such a sweetheart. I love him. And this guy in particular, I need to find his name on Instagram. He's not on Twitter. Thick 3D Cosplay. Jesus. Is that right? I am reading correctly. Okay. I loved it. He was actually in front of me. So if you guys remember the video, in the video where I am filming Datto, he was standing in front of me. I was already ready to stalk him and follow him to get a picture. Of course, I was like, Mom, I need us to hunt this man down because I want a picture with this guy. And we did. We eventually came across him. When it comes to suits and helmets, I understand that it gets very heated inside helmet. So he was like sitting in the corner, no helmet, drinking water. And I was like, can I take a picture with you? And he was like, yeah, sure. So he stood up and he put the helmet back on and he posed with, is that the 1000 voices? 1K voices? Okay, thank you. So, FrostBolt, he didn't have a meet and greet. He was just around hanging out in the advanced GG corner. So he was hanging out around there talking with like people that were approaching him to take pictures with. Same shoes. This was still Friday. Yeah, so there is a couple pictures from Friday. Saturday, not so much. Wait, are you talking about our shoes? They kind of look similar, right? I think so. The difference is his walls are white and his are clean. I don't care. I'm just a normal person pretending to be a random normal viewer or lurker of their stream. And so I was like, okay, what do I talk about to him? Because I don't play PvP often to like hold a conversation about PvP builds or maps or things happening in Destiny with PvP and all that jazz. Like, I did not know how to initiate a conversation with him. So I was like, is this your first time in Florida? And he was like, actually, no. And he got into detail of other times he's been here and also to like enjoy, I assume, the parks. And we started talking about roller coasters, and I was like, I've actually never been to one because I don't know if I'm gonna throw up or not, and I don't want to find out while I'm there. And he was like, you know, I took a motion sickness pill that a friend of mine recommended me, and it actually did help me out a lot. So take one of those and you'll be good to go. And then we started talking about the heat. He was like, I'm used to the Florida heat because I am from Texas, so the heat is pretty much the same, except the disgusting humidity of the Florida heat. And we were like laughing about it, and like it was such a fun but short conversation, and it really made me feel like he also was a lifelong friend. Like the way that he interacted with me felt like he was a friend of mine for a long time. I'm so happy and excited that I got the chance to bump into him and take a picture with him. And then this was after everything concluded Friday, and I was heading back into the hotel room and I wanted to have a picture. Was it hard to smile correctly with braces? KW? Yes. And I felt stupid. There were times where I was like, should I openly smile or like just have a soft smile like in this picture? Like, how can I make my existence not so complicated with my braces? Like, what's gonna work here? So that was the end of it, and that was on Saturday. So Saturday was a very late start. There were panels since like 10 something in the morning, but I didn't care. There were meet and greets with Datto, Dr. Lupo, I believe Fallout, Astrocross. But I was like, yeah, the lines are gonna be humongous, so I'm not gonna bother to try to get a picture with any of them. So Saturday was pool day, very late start, and I came down to GCX around 4 p.m. I turn around, leave, check out the vendors once again, because I wanted to try to see if I wanted to get a memory from GCX. Like a notebook or something, just something. But nothing really grabbed my attention. There were a lot of things that were mostly for collecting, and I'm not someone to collect things. I'm not one to hoard things that I'm not gonna use. Don't like posters. Sculptors are expensive as shit. They were like what, 60, 70? Well, 60 were like small ones. Do you guys know the Funko Pops, the size of them? So there were figures that were about that size that were like 60 plus or something. But I was like, I don't collect those things. So unfortunately, I wanted to get something as a memory, but nothing really grabbed my attention to get, because I'm not a collector. I don't collect figures. I don't collect pins. I don't collect posters. I don't collect... there's a lot of things I don't hoard and collect. So I didn't. However, going back to the picture, meeting JOverrated. He was talking to two people, and I was so shy to approach him because you see this tall man with a fancy mustache, and I'm like, I was sweating. I was like, Mom. And she was like, what? And I was like, I think that's JOverrated, and he's a Destiny content creator. And she's like, do you want to take a picture? And I was like, I don't know. I'm scared. Like, I'm intimidated to approach him. Some people have this first impression that they look intimidating or like super high up, like elevated egos and stuff. So I was like, I don't know if I should approach him or leave it like that and just not take a picture. And my mom was like, don't you be a pussy. Don't be a pussy. Go approach him, talk to him, go get a picture, give me your phone. I was like, okay. So I approach him, I stand next to him and his two friends or assistants or something. One of them notices me and he was like, you're not here because of me. I know you're here because of this guy. And I was like, yes. And that's when Joey turned around, hey, what's up? And I was like, are you taking pictures? And he was like, yeah, sure, absolutely. His moderator was the one who took the picture of us. And I was like, thank you so much. And he was like, send me your picture on a Twitter DM. Did you do it? I did. Shadow, I was so nervous. Like, I was on the phone. Okay, let me go on Twitter. And then I was like, oh, sorry, my bad. It's GCX. Not GCX. I was like, it's X. And he was like, he was laughing, and so was his mod, and I was like, I can't find Twitter. Oh, I'm sorry, it's X, my bad. And Joey was laughing, and so was his mod, and they were like, it's always gonna be Twitter to us, it's okay. So I was like shaking and trying to find the Twitter messages. I don't send Twitter messages, so I did not know how to send one. And then I found his Twitter handle, and he was like standing next to me, checking on my phone, making sure that I was like typing it correctly. And he was like, yeah, that's me. And so I did, and I sent him the picture. He was the tallest guy from everyone, along with Stadia. Stadia and Joey were like the tallest that I took pictures with. He started to chat me up, and I was like telling him that I was afraid of approaching him because first, I wasn't sure if it was him or not. And second, I told him, you know, I'm shy. I'm an introvert, and I don't like to approach people. I don't like to bother people. And I was like, but I wanted to approach you because I had a feeling it was you because of your mustache, because I remember that mustache from that one video clip on Twitter of you like launching a wither horde to like the very toppity top of the map. It lands on buttfuck nowhere, and it actually hits someone and kills them. And he was like, yeah, that's how usually people know me. And he told me that there was this one person that gifted him a painting of a wither horde to commemorate that moment in that video clip. That was that. And then I was like, I'm gonna let you go so you can do your thing. And we bid our farewells, and I left. And my mom and I went to sit down for the final presentation of GCX after this picture was taken. The presentation ended very early, actually. So that was that when it comes to the pictures I took with some of the content creators of Destiny. What are my thoughts and opinions about GCX as a whole? I liked the event. I just found it short. I feel that it should have ended an hour later. 4:44 p.m. was the end of it. And as soon as we started to stand up to leave, all the vendors started to take everything down at the same time. I don't know. It could have ended later, around 6. But then again, I know that Bean was mentioning earlier that there was like a pool gathering or something. So maybe that's why they ended it early on Saturday. I didn't go to the pool. I was hungry, so I went back into the hotel room and we ordered KFC actually. And we stuffed ourselves silly with a lot of chicken. And that was pretty much it. Later on in the evening, I went to the lounge bar with my mom to have a couple of fruity drinks that were very nice, very refreshing, very large, by the way. The hotel for the convention was amazing, gorgeous, beautiful, like super clean. Everything was in excellent conditions. The guest experience was incredible. The room service was great as well. There were no noises from the other rooms. If you want to have somewhere to stay, I highly recommend you to go to the Rosen Shingle Creek, because that's been a very good hotel that I have had the chance to experience so far. So I can confidently recommend you guys to go there.